Hi everyone, I'm Sarah and this is Barre with Sarah. Welcome back to the channel. This is a semi-spontaneous video I decided to film today, and this is a stretch target for the front of the thighs, so the quads and the hip flexors, which is one of the quads. And this is by special request from my husband, so Sergio, this is for you. We talked about this over dinner. Actually, we sit so much, we get so bound and tight in the front of that leg. So you notice the music's going to be a little louder today. I'm going to practice, I hope, talking a little bit less, but let me get you set up for this workout. So I've got a mat. I also recommend grabbing a hand towel or a thin pillow, especially if you have knee tenderness. This will be good when we get down on the mat. I have my support here, and then I have a block. If you don't have a block, you could also use a book, or you could use a bolster or a pillow. And these are just supports when we get into different positions. To help you support your body in the way that it needs to be supported. Okay, well, we need to warm up even though it's a stretch target, but we're going to take it nice and slow. So you can step out from your support a little bit. You can hold on. We're just going to take it down and down, up and up. Ears of the shoulders, hips of the heels. Nice job. And up. Nice job. 4 and up. 3 and up. 2 and up. Go ahead and hold it down. Little pulse. Little pulse. Just heating up those thighs for 4, 3, 2. Pulse it up. 8. Last 4, 3, 2, and 1. Stand it all the way up. Okay, I'm going to flip that mat over and restart our music, which stopped for who knows what reason. Oh, goodness. All right. So hopefully you're feeling a little bit warmer now that my music has decided to stop. Oh my word. Okay. There we go. So to continue heating up that body, I want you to go ahead and take that front leg forward and that other leg back. So whichever leg is closer to your screen. We've done this many times. So we're going to do that hip flexor back to that hamstring. So you can hold on and back. And I just saw my toe, my knee was coming a little bit too close to that toe. Forward and back. So really think about opening that hip flexor. And as you continue to move, you can start to tuck it a little bit if that feels good. Forward and back. Nice job. Take it forward and back. This is the little piece I have. You can slow it down. Forward. Go ahead and hold this one forward, sinking down, rolling those hips under if that feels good. Opening that chest. All right, let's go ahead and release and switch that up. So back leg comes forward, front leg comes back. Checking on alignment, you want to be still in parallel. So forward and back. So I have a really long stride here today. But if you need a shorter stride like that, that's also okay. Forward. And again, you can see I'm going to start rolling those hips under, A little bit more. All right, let's go ahead and hold this one forward. So sinking down, strong in that leg, rolling that hip under, so opening all through here. And again, we can open those arms, open that chest. And let's release. Go ahead and step it up. We're going to go into our traditional quad stretch. We do this in class. So I want you to take the left hand to left ankle. You can always use a belt or a towel. Bringing those knees close together. Tucking the hip under. Pulling like that. And I'm balancing. It's not a balance. So hold on to something. I do want you to have the same arm and leg holding. So not holding across the body. Inhale, exhale, tuck a little bit more. And release. Let's go to that other side. So again, not out here, pulling that leg in, tucking the hip under, pulling that leg back. Inhale and exhale a little bit deeper. All right, let's shake off those legs, and we're going to go ahead and do that again. So as we come back to this left side, you have the option to stay in that same position, or you can come into dancer if that feels good for you. So if you're going to come into dancer, I want you to face that support. But either way, left hand to left ankle, tuck the hips under so that leg comes forward, and then when you pull it back, that's your stretch. Remember, you can use a belt or a towel to loop around the foot if it feels like it's too far away. So stay here, or to come into dancer, soften that right knee, pitching forward, tucking the chin. Go ahead and come back. If you went to dancer, tuck the hip. And let's switch it out. Standing line shake. Okay, so now right hand to right ankle. Standing up nice and tall, tucking the hips under, then pulling that leg back. So sometimes with quad stretches like this, I see people just try to yank the foot back as far as they can to maximize that opening again. Rolling hips under, and then pulling that leg back. Same here. Softening that left knee, coming forward into dancer. This is my tight side. And returning. Just come under, pull that leg back. And release, shake out that standing leg. Okay, we're going to come down to a kneeling position. This is where that towel or a really thin pillow is going to come in handy. You can also double up your mat. So I'm going to go ahead and place that knee down. The knee closest to the screen is going to come down. And so what I'm trying to do here is set up a little kneeling lunge. So I'm going to bring that front leg forward. And you have a couple options. I like to give our hands something to do. So you can bring them to prayer. You can keep them on your hips. But we're just going to move forward. And then come back. Forward. So just opening here. If you're having a hard time getting that hip flexor to release, I want you to squeeze that same glute. That's your oppositional muscle, so squeeze the glute and feel a little release. Making sure our hips are pointed forward, that knee is not coming past the toe. You're starting to feel that open. You can inch that front foot forward. You get a little bit more into that hip flexor. Also want you to think really about when we come back, pulling. So core tight, inner thigh tight, pull, 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 pull. Okay, I want you to find your end range today. Maybe it's here, maybe it's here. Doesn't really matter where. You can stay here, or that same arm as leg is going to come up. I want you to rotate open and then take your palm to the back of your head. You can continue to open. So that's going to get also into your psoas. Feels really nice. Keep thinking tall. Inhale, exhale a little bit deeper. Go ahead and rotate back to center. Arm comes up and down. Let's switch that out. So nothing fancy today. It's just about flexibility, is about putting in the time, really. And that's what we're doing in this workout. All right. So going to that other side, squaring off those hips and coming forward. And again, hands can carry heart center. And here on the hips. I know some people like to put them here. I think this is fine. But what I notice sometimes when people put their hands on the quad is they dump into the low back. So they arch and put the pressure here. So try to stay nice and tall. And this is my better side, so I can get a little bit deeper. All right, I want you to find your end range now. Doesn't matter where that is. And again, contracting that glute on the side where this knee is down, it's going to help you release that hip flexor. And that same arm is knee down, comes up and over, twist, hands ahead. And keep thinking, not crunching back, but lifting and opening. So zip up the low core. Come back towards center. Arm comes down. All right, we're going to do a little counter stretch. Since we're getting really deep, it's important to counter stretch. Ooh, snap, crackle, pop. So I want you to come into a forward fold. Legs nice and wide. Bending those knees, coming down. Letting the belly drape on the thighs. You can have your hands on the ground. You can reach your opposite elbows for ragdoll. If you feel more flexible, you can straighten those legs a little bit, or you can really bend. Do a little just gentle rock side to side. Go ahead and plant those hands. I'm going to come down onto the mat. Okay, we're going to go into a down dog to open that hip and then come forward into a pigeon. So having your block or pillow handy is going to be useful right now. So I'm having it right here. Okay, so planting those hands, nice wide starfish hands. Tucking those toes, coming up into downward facing dog. Let's pedal those heels for just a little mini release. I want you to inhale that front leg closest to your screen up. We're going to open, bend that leg and start to open the hip. I want you to press down equally through these front hands. What we tend to do is to put weight to the side where the leg down is. Press firmly into both. Think about opening that hip. This is my tight side. This is as far as it's going to go. Let's square those hips off. And we're going to bring that leg through for pigeon. You can make a pit stop on the way if you need to set it down. That knee is coming up towards the hands. And now I'm going to start walking it back. Now, pigeon is a great stretch. We're going to get some outer hip and thigh and outer glute. But really, we're thinking about this extended leg. So you can walk back a little bit. This is what that block can come underneath the booty. I want you to think about squaring your hips. So squaring that back leg forward and then contracting the glute to press down. Inhale, exhale. And I said I was going to talk less today. And see how well that's going. Okay, option to come into king pigeon. This is really going to get into the quad. So for king pigeon, we're going to bend that back leg in half. There's that. That arm's going to come around. I need to do a little adjustment. And then we're just going to start pulling that heel in towards the glute. Again, staying up nice and tall. Inhale, exhale. And go ahead and release that. And we're going to come back into downward dog. So we want nice strong hands. Tuck that back toe. Press. It's not a very energetic stretch today. And let's pedal those heels again. Releasing any tension in your jaw, your neck. Nice job. Let's go ahead and find the hip distance parallel. And now we're going to inhale that back leg up, turn the hip out and open. And again, we want to think about how we stay down dog too long. We want to think about pressing down with both hands equally into that mat. And then as much as we can, opening up. Let's go ahead and square those hips off. And we're going to bring that leg through. And then we're going to start walking back. And again, this is what we're thinking about today. Pigeon gives us a lot, but we really want to think here. Now, this is my tight side. So my body wants to open. I'm going to try to bring it forward. So to do that, one thing you can do is bring the heel in closer. If you want to come into king pigeon. Maybe not on this side, let's see. So if you really want to activate this stretch, I want you to think about tucking that hip under just a tiny bit and then pressing that foot into that hand. Ooh, this is an intense stretch. And let's release. Okay. Go ahead and sit forward. Just take your knees side to side, little release. Okay, we're going to do a pretzel-based stretch, not actual pretzel, don't worry. And then into kind of a version of Stargazer or a nice little counter stretch. All right, Let's start here with this left leg. I'm gonna set up like we would for pretzels. So we're gonna be parallel to that mat. The knee is gonna be off the mat. We're gonna come to that fleshy inner part of the knee here on the back leg. And just like pretzel, we're gonna put our hand, right hand to right ankle. We're gonna pick it up and set it back. We're just gonna open and close. So just dynamically opening and closing. You keep going. I'm going to turn because I realize, my goodness, that's hard to see. So here I am, taking that knee back, and I'm just going to bring the leg forward and back. So I'm creating a little shape and just rotating and back. You can slow this down, speed it up, you keep going. I'm going to face you again. Okay, this next one I want you to hold it. So we're going to start to bring square our torso towards that knee. Just like in pigeon, king pigeon, we're pressing foot into hand, little mini tuck. If that stretch starts to fade, you can pull that leg in a little bit, but stay on the fleshy part of the knee, not on the kneecap. Okay, let's go ahead and release that, set that leg down. So we're gonna counter stretch, so left arm, I think up and over. And put that left hand down, and I'm gonna press up into stargazer. So pressing this right hip forward and coming back down. Do this a couple times. So we don't want to just crunch, we want to lift up towards the corner of that room and down. You don't have to do the fancy arm thing. I think this might be the year I get a yoga certification. We'll see. The avowed bar teacher might do yoga after all. Stretching. And up. Let's hold this one nice and strong. And release. I'm going to swing that around and do it on the other side. So hopefully you're starting to feel some openness in that quad and the hip flexor. It's a little more hip flexor, but it's all connected. So we're going to line up again, the outer edge of that mat. This front leg, knees off. We're going to have left hand to left ankle. Pick up that leg, set it back on that fleshy part of the knee. We're going to move forward and back. You know this now. It's really important that we create this system so the torso is moving. You can see this right side is planted, but the whole left side is moving. Nice job. I know it's a lot of dynamic stretches. We're going to come to one final static stretch, my favorite after this. All kind of my favorite. All right, we're going to come forward and hold. So again, I want to start moving my torso to face my front knee. And this is my more flexible side, but you could be up here, pressing hand, foot into hand, tucking that hip under. Or if you've got a little more flexibility, you can pull in a little bit more. That's going to be more quad dominant if you pull it in. And again, just lifted. All right, let's set that down. And we're going to counter stretch so that right arm comes up and over. pressing up and open. So we don't want to crunch too far back. We want to think up, lifting up, coming down. A few cycles of this. Let's do one more. When you're tight, it's hard to keep integrity of stretch. So just listen to your body. If you can't maintain a pose, it feels really stressful. That means you've gone too deep. And we don't want to compensate. So dumping, especially into the lumbar spine. Then we're solving one problem, we're trading one problem for another, and that's not very helpful. All right, we're going to come into lizard with an option to go into sleeping swan. So that bolster or that block is going to be super useful right now. So if you haven't done lizard before, lizard is similar to pigeon, but it just gets into those hips in a different way. So we're going to bring that leg closer to the screen again. We're going to bring that leg forward. And we're going to take that back leg back. Again, we can put something underneath the thigh if you need to. Now for lizard, we're going to be drawing that chest through, tucking the chin. But we're going to start walking that foot out a little bit wider. So a good starting place for lizard is out at the side of your mat. So we're still pressing here. You're going to get a little bit of an inner thigh stretch. Stay here. You can walk out further. You can also come under the blade of that foot. Whew. Another option for lizard is to start coming down. So coming onto that block. If we're dropping our head, then we've gone too far. So maybe just coming down a little bit feels good to you. This is deep, 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 deep. Okay, we're going to go ahead and just reset it into sleeping swan. So come back out of it for me. Sleeping swan is basically lazy pigeon. So sleeping swan, I'll grab my bolster. As it suggests, we come on down. So for sleeping swan, coming forward. Now again, we're going to feel this in the outer hip glute. I still want you to think about turning the hip of that back leg down and pressing. Just melt towards the floor. And the modifier for this, of course, is pigeon, so you can come back to pigeon. It doesn't feel good to melt all the way down. Carefully come up. Let's do a little quick cat-cow to reset. So chin to chest, looking at the thighs, the cat. Tucking toes, collarbones forward, gaze up, cow. And back to neutral. Okay, now we're going to bring that back leg forward and that front leg back. So we're going to do the lizard on the other side. Here we are. Whew. So this is my tighter side, so a block is going to help me keep good form. I need to be up a little higher. And you can't see because of my block, but I'm walking that foot out to the edge of my mat, pressing forward, opening that right in through here. Maybe coming to that blade edge, again, turning that hip down and forward. Whew. You could be down further. Not today for me. All right, we're gonna back out of that for a second, little release, and then come into sleeping swan. So again, thinking about turning this hip down. Up here in pigeon is a great modifier, or coming down, all the way down. And go ahead and press up and bring your legs forward. So that was your stretching target today for the hip flexors and the quads. I hope you enjoyed this. If you like this target, I recommend the opposite side of the body target for your glutes and your outer hips. As soon as this video is finished, I'll link it in the description below. So thanks everyone. Thanks for joining this special target. And I hope to see you at another Barre with Sarah class soon. Thanks everyone. Bye.